Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. We're so excited to chat all things BFCM with you. We'll give it a minute or two for people to join. While we're waiting, what's one thing in your BFCM cart? What are you excited to buy? What are you like waiting for a discount? I'm curious. Put it in the chat and then we can all jam on that.
Does software count?
Software can count, Dylan.
Right. Also in the chat, if anyone's inspired, drop where you guys are calling in from. That's always one of my favorites. Got some Quebec in here. Fort Moody, Ontario. A lot of Canada representation.
We love it. I'm
We
from
love to see the
Vancouver,
Canada.
BC. Yeah.
Love it. LA, got some Denver. I got a trip coming up to Denver. Excited.
Prague, Czech Republic. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We're like
Like
getting global here.
today. Good brands here.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're 2 minutes past the hour. Let's get started so we can get to the real meat of this, which is the expertise of all of our guests and our panelists that we have. So, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Ask Anything BFCM Wins, Fails, and Quick Fixes webinar. My name is Tila Beischer. I'm the Operations Project Manager at Stamped, and I'm going to be our host for today's session. We all know that BFCM can be very confusing and chaotic. There's a billion campaigns that you're trying to run and you're trying to do analysis all at the same time. So we are here to try and simplify some of those pieces from you. We want to talk about what's working and what's not in our perspective from the brands that we've worked with. We want to answer your real questions. So questions we're going to start with are ones that you've actually submitted. And this is how we're going to spend our time together today. So this is meant to be an open format conversation. Please use the Zoom chat. It's here for you to ask questions. Switch it to everyone instead of hosts and panelists so that we can all see. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Zoom chat, and then we have Lisa and Aiden from Stamped who will also be watching that. We're going to go through some general questions to get started, and then we're going to talk about pre-BFCM, during BFCM, and post-BFCM tactics. We are recording today, so if you have to hop off for anything, I mean, you won't get to ask your question live, but you can watch the recording afterwards. So enough from me. Let's meet our amazing group of speakers today who are coming in. They're people who are in the weeds with you and with other brands every single day, helping us make smarter decisions through data, through testing, through retention. So I'm going to get everyone to quickly introduce themselves and share a bit about their role and their company, what their hot take on BFCM is. Tamana, I'll turn it over to you to kick us off.
Hey everyone, my name is Tamana. I'm one of the tech partner managers at Triple Whale. If you're not familiar with Triple Whale, we are the go-to e-commerce intelligence platform built for brands to make smarter, more intelligent decisions. We actually work with about 40,000 to 45,000 different brands. Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, basically all platforms can use Triple Whale. And we work with companies like Calpac, MeUndies, Peloton, Culture Kings, and so many more. We also partner with a lot of the brands who are on this webinar today. Now, if you have questions about how we actually like work in real life, check out our case study section on our website. And I think like one of the easiest tips I can give you right now is you're on this webinar, you're in front of like, I think 6 or 7 of us right now. Use us. We're here to help you. We're in your corner. And if you have any questions, we're probably all going to put our contact info in the chat after. Reach out to us because like we are here to help.
Awesome. Over to you, Dylan.
Hey everyone, my name is Dylan. I'm the founder of heatmap.com. We are the only revenue-based heat map in the world, and we've got AI that just tells you how to go optimize your website. Hey Zelly, she's my awesome assistant. Um, yeah, I built and sold splittesting.com. We were the largest CRO agency in the ecom space. So I built it because I never understood where on a page like your revenue is coming from, and I always wanted to. So we've got 17 trillion data points, and now our AI kind of just tells you like, hey, this is underperforming. FAQ question number 3 is really terrible. Your, PDP above the fold is not working super great. So that's something that we love to do. And my only plug, honestly, don't even sign up for heatmap.com. You guys can see we've got billion-dollar websites coming out literally in 6 days. I have spent the 10,000 hours and 10 years of CRO training and optimizing and hands-on keyboard, which I still do today, and then another 2,000 hours into this little guy. So go to my website and you guys can sign up for a newsletter. You'll get it a day or two early, maybe. So super excited. This is my only CTA. I love this thing.
Awesome. We're stoked to learn the tips that you're going to share from it today, and we're all going to go make sure we pre-order that. Laura, over to you.
These are such good high energy intros. Everyone's had their coffee today. My name's Laura Serino. I'm the director of content, community, and brand at Postscript. Postscript is the go-to SMS marketing platform for Shopify stores. We live and breathe SMS. It's the only thing we do. So we're kind of your best bet if you're trying to grow your subscriber list compliantly and 3 times faster than anywhere else. If you want to grow SMS into that top revenue generating channel, we are your best bets for that. We also have the best AI solutions for SMS in the market. I've been at Postscript for the past 4 years, but prior to that, I was where you all are, and I worked on the D2C side of e-commerce for almost a decade, working for some really great brands. I also started, scaled, and sold my own online store back in the day. So I think this might be my 12th straight BFCM coming up, maybe more than that. So the chaos is, nothing new to me at all.
Amazing. Thank you for being here. Can confirm we are all very well caffeinated. Alex, last but not least, over to you.
Hopefully not least. What up, everyone? I'm Alex. I'm head of marketing at IntelliGems. We are a testing platform that lets you kind of test beyond what's typical. So like Dylan was saying, CRO, a lot of like headlines, image changes, things like that. Over at IntelliGems, we're going to let you do that, plus start to test and decide confidently across pricing, shipping rates, offers, those sorts of things. So just kind of a little up, but some of those are bigger swings. A bit about me, I've been in the e-com space we were talking about this before we jumped on, like over a decade now, which is like crazy to say. Been on the tool side. I also had my own brand. It was a men's grooming brand that has wound down. But yeah, been in the trenches for BFCM, seen it from kind of like all the different angles. And then what was the last thing? A hot BFCM take. Anyone that's on here and thinks BFCM is like the time to hit advertising hard, it is not. You have been building something up. You have this sponge. It's time to wring it out. It's not time to go and like hit the new acquisition channels, in my opinion.
That is a hot take. We'll chat about that a little bit more. We had a few questions about retention versus acquisition. Stamped is firm on the retention side of things. So I realized I didn't introduce Stamped. Stamped is a reviews, loyalty, and lifecycle marketing platform. We partner with Shopify brands, and we help them with all things user-generated content, review collection on site, and then we plug into some amazing email and SMS partners to send post-purchase flows that are really smart. So let's hop in to the good stuff. The Q&A, I'm going to actually stop screen sharing so we can see everyone. And question number 1, what's driving up general acquisition costs this year? Amanda, this one's for you.
Yeah, good question. And I think people are feeling it. Competition and cost inflation, those two things are probably driving it up the most. Brands are fighting harder than ever for the same customers across Meta, Google, TikTok, and CPMs, they're also up. So, especially on Meta, consumer spending, it isn't growing at the same pace as the spend is. So the gap really between the spend and return is really widening. Now, the smart brands today, they are using cross-channel strategies and first-party data to really stretch their dollars further, but we definitely can see like how the landscape has changed between last year and this year. And there's probably other things that are driving acquisition costs up. I mean, if you're in the chat, I want to hear from you guys too.
Does anyone else have anything to say about acquisition costs? I know this is on all of our minds.
One thing I'll toss in there is that a lot of brands are kind of like, giving like, oh, what's going on? But like to be honest, like Tamina, did I pronounce that correct? Heck yeah. Cool. So, like as she was saying, like, people, that's the key word. Like the thing I always love is like saying anytime you're talking about the Facebook algorithm or the Google algorithm, replace the word algorithm with audience, right? So you're selling to an audience, not an algorithm. So if you're having trouble with the algorithm, that means you're having trouble with the audience. Like CRO as a whole, it's like where I come from, it's like just understanding the people you're selling to, right? Like ask your customers what they want, give them what they want, you get what you want, which is money. And that's kind of like my whole TLDR. I share that uh the economic climate is pretty tough for a lot of people, especially if you sell mostly to the US. Dollars inflating, there's a lot of things that are going on, not in a doomsday scenario, but budgets are a bit tight. So it's not necessarily the algorithm that you got to trick and change, but it's like the audience that you got to make sure that you're like embracing, giving the right thing to, and finding the right people. So consumers are just having a little bit more trouble on that disposable income. So it's not necessarily your guy's fault. It's not something that's in your ad account. It's kind of a total of everything.
Completely agree with the price sensitivity. That's a huge trend that we're seeing at Triple Whale as well.
Awesome. And how do you feel like brands are still focusing on new customers or has retention taken over? We chatted about this a bit in the intros. I'm curious for the triple whale hot take.
Yeah, I can definitely take this one. You know what? I think there's definitely been a huge shift towards retention this year. Now, in the first half of 2025, about half of revenue actually came from existing customers. And I think that's up almost like 40% or something like that from last year. So, with acquisition actually getting more expensive, brands are doubling down on loyalty programs, VIP offers, personalized re-engagement. Those are the things that will actually help you stay profitable this year. Now, it's not to say that you shouldn't focus on new customers as well. It's just that those loyal customers are going to be the ones that are going to be, they're going to be the one paying your bills. They're going to be the one giving you all of that profit and revenue. So highly, highly recommend, doubling down on them.
We definitely agree over at Stamp. So we're a loyalty platform. We've always believed this. We actually merged with Repeat last year, and Repeat is like a life cycle marketing platform. And so what we've really found as we're looking at brands is that we used to have customers come to Stamp looking for reviews as an acquisition lever, and now they're coming to Stamp already having reviews in the acquisition in place, and they want to focus on those repurchase and the retention flows. Done a couple studies on this in terms of BFCM performance. And what we found is that the baseline is that 84% of first time BFCM customers never make a second purchase. So our goal is to kind of like nudge people along with smart incentives without over discounting and costing margins to hit that second purchase. All right. Next question is for you, Dylan. How can brands quickly boost revenue per session without relying on discounts?
Ooh, fun one. Okay. So, um, it always starts with your website. Like that's what I'll say. My hot take is that most brands are absolutely effing it up by spending 80% of their time on their ads when it should really be 80% of your time on your website. Because, with the exclusion of like, TikTok shop, that type of stuff, like, those types of focus brands at Amazon, you won't make any money if people don't click the buy now button on your website. So like, like you can make the most beautiful ads, spend $1 million on production, but like if your website sucks and it's like not appealing to the customers and the target audience that you're going after, then like sorry. So that's the main one of like number one. Number two, you need to right now, like if you guys are on this call right now, go send a customer feedback survey over email to your customers. Say, what are you looking to shop for this season? How can we get the best thing for you? What do you want? What do you need? Well, like, what do you care about? What product have you gotten before? Like, what can we do better? Like, just ask the customers right now, like literally in the next, it will only take you make a Google form, a type form. It's literally free. Go send it out. No more than 6 to 8 questions, really targeted. And like I always just say, like let your customers tell you what to do, right? Because they're the ones buying. So like immediately the best way you could do it, like for every single channel, whether it's retention, acquisition, on your website, which is kind of everything, like just go ask them. That's how you could do it. Like go ask them and do it.
Piling on to what Dylan said there, strong plus one on asking people what they want. And yes, like there's the ad and then there's the conversion point, which is the website. Like, what are they seeing when they're there? And I think there's a big, obviously through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it's kind of all about the offer, right? It's like, hey, what is the discount going to be? And like, what am I going to do there? But I think there's a lot you can do besides that. You don't have to do all this manipulation on like the discount. Something that works extremely well right now. Test and try gifting messaging. Badges, number one gift for dad. Explain who the gift is for. These are all things that can boost that revenue per session without needing to do anything from like a discounting perspective. That's something you can do inside of this season. And I think like overall, even Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or anytime, something that you can do that can really boost revenue per session is think about the merchandising. So we have a lot of brands that will do certain things where they're not actually manipulating the discount or like the pricing, they're just changing how they display things on a collection page. Have like a very expensive item next to a cheaper item, and you're actually trying to like anchor to a higher price and make that look like a deal by moving into something else where you're not actually discounting anything. You're just positioning things beside one another and merchandising things correctly. So those are two ways that you can actually boost revenue per session where you don't actually have to touch discounting or the price point.
One last one that I gotta give. So I didn't give my hot take before. Um, Everyone, like nearly every brand, like at my CRO agency, we almost it's like, I mean, maybe our the revenue of our lowest client before I sold was maybe like 50, 60 million a year. Everyone's like, code freeze, we're not touching anything. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Okay, so the hottest of takes, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you have your most traffic ever. You instead of doing the 2 week rule that you must run a test for 2 weeks, you can actually do it for a shorter amount of time and quickly iterate, right? Just make sure your developers aren't being dummies, kind of thing. So the other thing about that I love is like you're going to run so many sales throughout the year. You have your July 4th sale, your Valentine's Day sale, your, Memorial Day sale. You have all of these. And you can kind of find the blueprint in Black Friday, Cyber Monday as to what works well on a sale. If you find something that works, go implement it on your next sale, go do it on your next sale, go do it on your next sale. So there's very few times that your sales are usually big bumps in revenue. When else do you get to test your biggest sales of the year? So be testing throughout it and just down to the minute, watch it. So that's a big hot take that I actually try to run more split tests during Black Friday, Cyber Monday than less, where everyone's doing code freezes. The biggest brands winning are running split tests by the day.
Yeah, and if you're nervous to do what Dylan just said through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, do it in reverse. Like use Labor Day, use these other big promotional spikes to be testing and learn something when it's not quote like the risky time. And then you can take those learnings in a different sale. Like obviously we can't really do that right now. There isn't really anything before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But like, hey, if that seems too risky, just do it on these other promotional periods. Like that's the only time you're actually going to learn what works inside of a promotional period. If you go test something on a random Tuesday in May, it's really not going to tell you much about what the environment's going to be in like an actual promotional holiday big sales event.
We had an audience question following up on that. Following up on the website being very important, do you feel like there's more juice to squeeze on the Evergreen website or on specific landing pages for campaigns?
Yes and yes.
Tell us more.
Um, so the way that I always like to say it is like think back to I don't know how long y'all have been in there, but like I had my first drop shipping store at 18. You're all battling with very similar products for the same advertising space. Like we were saying before, like as CPMs are going up. So you have to win over that. So if your cost per click is lower than your revenue per session, you're going to do a good job, especially on new acquisition. So your landing pages, your full site, like you need to go and optimize those better because whoever's converting better on those, like you can afford a higher cost per click, meaning you can spend more and your unit economics still works. So really the juice to squeeze is kind of everywhere. I know that's like a big one, but Evergreen especially, it's like so especially for health and wellness companies, I've found that a lot of the people who have the best Black Friday, Cyber Monday just run their evergreen and just bump up budgets. and bump up acquisition. So especially for health wellness companies and like companies with a true value prop, like companies that run listicles, advertorials, that those types of companies, like smash your evergreen. You've been working 10 months to figure out what's going on for these two. So just smash evergreen. I found that some of the most successful brands do that. So don't be scared that you have to over optimize for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I feel like people get too caught up in it. Like, don't focus on the sale, focus on selling your product.
I think like one thing to add on there, like agree with Dylan, yes and yes. And when you're thinking about Evergreen, you're thinking about like your ad landing pages. Remember that when you're testing and doing things on the ad lander, it is in relation to the specific ad that they saw. So like as you're testing, you can get specific in like what the tie-in is between those things. But when you're testing on your Evergreen site or like when people are coming to your homepage, you don't really know what the starting point was. So like what you're testing might be more broad and trying to find like what is the best that you can do for the most amount of people. But when you're inside of those specific ad landers, you're trying to figure out what is the best I can do from that known starting point, whether it's from a specific campaign or a specific ad. So there's juice to be squeezed in both of these places. You're just going to find the results in both of those places by testing different things.
Amazing. I want to move off the website and into channel. Laura, what's resonating most in SMS for this BFCM season? What are the trends that you are forecasting?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, conversational is something. I know I saw something in the Q&A around conversational. I think we're moving more towards a conversational landscape in general, just the way we're using ChatGPT. We're really moving into like prompt-based searches in general. So conversational strategy, we've talked about, Alex and Dylan have already talked about, like you have to talk to your customers. SMS is such an easy channel to do this, to be able to instantly reach them. We know those open rates are high. We know the engagement there is high. I mean, your texts are landing next to, from your brand, are landing next to texts from your mom or your, boyfriend or girlfriend. So it's really important to capitalize on conversations. I will say, I think, in order to make that make sense during BFCM, I think promotional sales messaging is still so important during BFCM. I wouldn't suggest you try conversational for the first time on Black Friday. However, um, I think in general, your list, if you haven't done conversational yet, they probably don't really even know how to engage with your brand. So start doing it right away. I mean, send one out this week. Send one out, ask them what they're looking to buy. I mean, we have people at the pop-up level now. Start with a question there when you're just acquiring a new subscriber. If you're a skincare brand, ask them right at the pop-up level, are you looking to find more products for dry skin, for oily skin, for mature skin, whatever that may be? And then right out of the gate, that welcome series is super targeted. And now you can continue having conversations in a very specific lane, serving them very specific products, building out very specific segments. So when it gets time for these like peak BFCM sales seasons, you can do really segmented targeted sends to those different audiences. So you could still do these like full list sends, but not everyone's getting the same message because we're really shifting into, a landscape where people are expecting really personal recommendations and are expecting a really personal experience over text. So that's really important to do. And if you're trying to do that really quickly now for BFCM, I would say tailor those abandon and browse abandon automations right now. Ask them what is stopping them from checking out, maybe, versus just sending a come back, here's 15% off kind of a code. You can automate this with kind of response branching over SMS. You could always use an AI shopping assistant. We have something like that called Shopper to handle these objections and to really move them across the line. So save the like really fun, playful convo for outside the Cyber Week window, but you should absolutely start doing that as well because you've really got to train your audience that like if they text you, you will text them back.
Would you say that that conversational type of conversation works well for post BFCM? So one of the questions in the chat was what post BFCM SMS flow or message type keeps one-time buyers engaged into January? Is that where you would go back to conversational messaging?
Absolutely. That's such a good question. I mean, what is more ripe for conversation than a post-purchase automation or some kind of a post-purchase play to say, even right after BFCM to ask, was this a gift for someone or a gift for yourself? Okay. So right then and there, if you can set that up, post BFCM, now you have a better way to target them like throughout December and January as well. You know that you either have an opportunity to get them to buy something for someone else. Maybe you have an opportunity to look at them as a personal shopper and what other recommendations might you suggest that they buy. So I think, yeah, based on kind of that, and also, targeting people that maybe were clicking through and still haven't purchased. How do you get them over the line when those sales are over and still continue to communicate with them via a conversation?
I love it. If y'all are familiar with No Commerce, they are a like sibling brand to Stamped, and they do kind of post-purchase surveys. They did a study on last year's BFCM data, and they found that 70% of people who buy during BFCM are buying for themselves and not for a gift, which I think is kind of like counter to the usual narrative. So when you're thinking of your post-purchase, starting with that, who's this for, and then designing based on that helps you to predict things. Curious if anyone else has any tips on that, like gift versus buying for yourself post-purchase flow.
I'll be a broken record, but ask the customers.
I was also gonna say like adding something like a one of those I'm totally blanking on the name of it right now, but the progress bar. So if people are buying for themselves, having certain tiers at the checkout is something that will also increase your AOV. So as an example, have like a certain threshold for free shipping, then have another, like have a little bit more, get them to spend a little bit more and they get a free item. And then if they spend a little bit more, then they get a gift card that they get to use again. So not only are you gamifying the experience, but you're also giving them the opportunity to actually spend more and then eventually also come back to spend more in the future. So just some tips and tricks that I've seen it's worked a lot for a lot of different customers.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I would say too, if you have literally no idea where to start post BFCM, look in your own FAQs on your website. Like those are out there because you already know that those are objections and questions that come up from customers. So proactively start to use those as campaigns, proactively sell that way and try and objection handle in that way to get them again over the line because a lot of those probably already exist for you. So you already know what's potentially preventing them from checking out. So using those also post BFCM to get a little bit more revenue is kind of like an easy hack into it.
Agreed. We're working on an update at Stamped right now that you can actually experiment with yourself without even using Stamped. Pull off all of your reviews and your Q&A for products, pop them into ChatGPT, and then ask for a summary of the objections or ask for a summary of what are the things that people love the most, and then use that to inform the different types of campaigns that you can run. It's a super simple one-time piece. We're going to help you automate it over time, but that's an easy tip. Um, Question for you while we're in this person's Amanda's questions. Sorry, Amanda submitted a list of questions in the Q&A. Alex, this question is for you. What's the most overlooked variable that brands should be testing during BFCM? Pricing, copy, or layout?
Do I have to pick one of those? So what Dylan was saying earlier about like, hey, don't be scared here. I think that that is true, but there are some things that you probably shouldn't be testing through Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Like it is a great time to learn. You can try a lot of things like layouts, great time to be testing that. You have a ton of traffic hitting this. Price is one where it's not one that I would necessarily like. This is odd coming from me. IntelliGems allows you to do price testing. We want you to be testing your prices. Testing prices through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, though, is one a little bit riskier than doing some of the other things, but probably won't give you the signal you're actually looking for because people are in this like promotional shopping behavior, and it's probably not indicative of what it's going to be like for the rest of the year. So I'd say like inside of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you have a ton of traffic to test kind of like layouts, images, that sort of thing. Testing some of those bigger things, I would take what I was saying earlier and use maybe like a different promotional period to try out like offer testing. Am I giving the offer in dollars, percentage? Am I using free gifts? Am I using thresholds? Like there's a lot of different offer mechanisms that you can try. And I think that's like the lead up into Black Friday, Cyber Monday is a great time to be testing that offer mechanism as well as the offer amount once you choose that mechanism.
I like it. Once we have our offer selected, this is the question that was submitted from a registrant ahead of the webinar. They're planning to offer a gift with purchase. Should we increase our prices for the promotion now, or should we leave them as is?
Sorry, can you repeat that question? So we're giving a gift
Yeah,
with purchase.
we're giving a gift with purchase. Should we increase our prices for the promotion now or leave them as is?
So increase the price of or the perceived value of that free gift, or leave it as is. Um, I'm probably going to be a broken record on a different thing instead of what Dylan's saying. Test it. Like when you have a question like that, the best thing to do is to test it. Obviously, it's going to come down to if you increase the price of that free gift, it is going to have a higher perceived value to your customer. Inside of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, again, my hot take was a lot of people coming to shop with you are going to be people who already know your brand and have already shopped with you before. So if like that is one of your most popular items and they already know what the price is and you boosted it, they might see that, they might not. But that free gift is a fantastic way, a fantastic way to drive behavior as an offer because that perceived value, whether you raise the price or you don't, the cost of that item is what? What's your COGS on that? It might be like $3, but you're selling it for 15. That's gonna have a hell of a higher perceived value to your shopper than if you were to say like a percentage or a dollar off. So it's actually gonna cost you less, but potentially look amazing to your customer. So that was a long-winded answer of saying test it. But I don't think it will truly matter if you up the price of it or not, in relation to what you're doing in totality.
One that I'll add there, when offer testing, the first thing I like, broken record again, it's always for the customers, right? Like what helps the customers the most. So if you guys sell supplements, like maybe you know that two or three of them together like do a really good job. Go bundle those and help it. Maybe it's a discount, whatever else it is. What I found is the best offers for both the customer and the brand are where you add more together. So instead of like going down for saving, right? Like find something that's even more valuable. Like Hexclad does an amazing job at this, right? Where they have so many things you can get together and then slowly less, 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 less. And I would imagine they have the highest AOV possible, like in Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That's something I've always noticed, which is like people are willing to spend more because it's when they're actually going to go and spend. So in your like offers, bundles are always great. Give the free gift, give the other things, but don't think about trying to have the same AOV but more people to get them. Like you can take a little hit on conversion rate. Your revenue per session will stay the same if your AOV is higher. Plus, you're paying less for shipping, so your net margin is higher as well. So try to find offers that are even higher, right? So Laura, I'd imagine like over SMS specifically, like yeah, get like a larger bundle, get like a larger offer instead of like just trying to get people to buy a regular item at the same or like more advantageous. And that's another way that without discounting, you could have more, even if you discount the total.
Yeah, and along that line, exclusivity, right? So maybe you have like an SMS specific bundle, email specific bundle, whatever channel you want that promoted on. Yeah, to Dylan's point, make it helpful, but also exclusive, especially if it's going to be a very limited time run during that BFCM window.
And then another thing too for the lander that you have, if it is SMS specific, just change your headline. Like, thanks for being on our text message list. Like, here's an offer for you. Like literally dupe your same lander and just change the headline and you will have absolute magic. Like you should dupe so many pages and just change it for a specific headline, no matter what channel they're coming from. Like, oh, founders on Meta, surprise, here's like a free thing, like literally just have a headline change. Like you guys would be mind blown. We tested over 4,000 split tests at my agency. Almost all of the biggest test lists have just been the headline.
Simple copy change, essentially, as a test. What's the inverse of this discounting? So when you're working with the brand, this is another question from Amanda, are there signs that a brand's discounting is actually hurting the perceived value long term?
I think I can take that question. I was actually just on a panel last week at an event in New York, and we had two very different brands who were on stage. One of them, focused on discounting during things like BFCM, or, just where they had like a semi-annual sale kind of thing. I worked with another brand on stage, and they actually had products that were like in the $800 to $900 range for one piece of clothing. Now, the difference was that they didn't want to discount anything. Instead, they focused a lot of their resources on these drops that they had 4 times a year. And these drops, they'd have loyal customers waiting at 12 o'clock for this drop to happen. Now, the difference between the two brands was that obviously they have different marketing, different products. They have a whole different way of, yeah, promoting their products essentially. But it was the data that they used. So I think that's really where Triple Whale comes in. It helped them kind of keep organized. So instead of guessing of where to spend more money on certain, like on Meta or TikTok, etc., they actually had data to back up their decision making. And you can't, like, it's not good to rely on just guesswork. Actually having data to help support it is huge. I think the other thing is a lot of companies are dealing with like a ton of data. So just having that data is one thing, but actually being able to like sift through it and like someone just mentioned in the chat, thank you, Amanda. We love Triple Whale Moby Insights. Moby will actually tell you what's working, what's not working, and then actually what to do next. And I think that's really what makes Triple Whale stand out. So if you're looking to have, one place where everything is kind of there and centralized, Triple Whale is a great tool for that.
So interesting to learn. Can you tell me a little bit more about Triple Whale's AI? Like dig into Moby a little bit. We had a few questions about this in the registration.
Yeah, good question. And I think like just AI in general, if you're not embracing AI right now, you are definitely falling behind. But AI, I think, can really take that guesswork out of your decision making, right? Like that's one of the biggest things. We have like as Amanda mentioned, we have a tool like Moby, and it can actually analyze what's working for you. It can forecast your daily revenue. It can even flag performance anomalies. We had people who used Triple Whale last year during the Black Friday Cyber Monday weekend, and one of their top performing products all of a sudden was not selling. Turns out it was because the page was broken, and Triple Whale was able to help them identify that right on day one of Black Friday Cyber Monday. So, like, imagine if they didn't have that info, they would have lost a ton of revenue for that weekend, right? I think another thing that really works for, well, using AI for BFCM is also just being able to like check on all of your ads, making sure that they're getting sent properly, making sure that you're not going far above your ad spend. So keeping all of that in motion and in range and having like real-time data, all of those things help. And AI, through all of these brands, I know all of these brands have a different type of AI, but like really leaning into it and using it, getting familiar with it, it will save you so much time. At Triple Whale, it also helps you actually monitor your campaigns 24/7, like I said, so you don't have to worry. And you can also focus on that creative and customer experience instead of spreadsheets and all the data, because you're getting that data, on a minute by minute basis, so a second by second basis. I hope that kind of answers your question.
I think so. What I'm hearing is if we're doing Dylan's strategy of having a ton of different landing pages with different headers, Triple Whale is really helpful to let us know exactly what happens with that.
Yeah, I think with Triple Whale, not only, so a lot of intelligence platforms will tell you like what's happening, but at Triple Whale, we're actually telling you why it's happening, and then more importantly, what to do next.
Interesting. What are some other AI use cases for BFCM that our panelists are loving this year? What are you seeing people use for SMS or for testing?
Alex, I think that's got your name all over it.
Yeah, I think so. From an AI perspective, so we actually just released a feature just the other day of basically having like agentic chat with with your test results. So instead of just like going through spreadsheets and trying to figure out what's going on, like just ask your data questions about what you want to know. Instead of like looking through it and trying to like find the insight, ask it, what channel was this most effective for a particular landing page? Hey, what ad campaign was the most effective at driving to here? Like ask very kind of like plain English questions and let AI kind of like look through the data and return it to you in a very human response. I think that testing and data can be very intimidating to a lot of people. And I think that you can use AI to make it more accessible to you and answer the questions in a way that makes it easier to take action on.
I've got a polar opposite thing on AI, or at least left field one that most people don't do. So each LLM has like a very, strengths and weaknesses, right? Like we all know that. Like personally, I love Gemini for creative. If I'm doing anything engineering related or data related, I always go to Claude. Chad is like my personal therapist, and like whatever it's kind of like needed. So it's like what I often love to do is take customer feedback survey results and be able to toss it in. And I'll ask like some wild questions that you wouldn't think about. Again, not the algorithm, it's the audience. Say, this is my demographic of people. Here's a customer feedback survey with questions and answers that I gave. These are my customers. My AOV is this. This is what's happening. What are these people feeling in their normal life right now? Like, are they struggling? Are they living in a major city? Is rent increasing? Like, what's happening in their disposable income? How are they changing in shopping? So it's like not even a plug to us or anything. It's just like go to them, get all the feedback, get everything you want, and like you can learn about your customers by getting that initial one and then just asking with big data like what's going on, right? That it's like, the socioeconomic climate like is so important that like it's just about people. So you can learn a lot more by running those customer feedback surveys and just like asking about it. And then after you get all those questions, then say, hey, what should my strategy be on Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Like just works.
So
This is
like
also
kind of
definitely.
related to that.
Oh,
Oh, go
sorry.
ahead,
Go ahead,
Laura. You go,
Alex.
Laura. You
I was just gonna say this is really like the first BFCM where we've seen a lot of movement in AI over the past year, and I know for us specifically, this is going to be our first BFCM with Shopper, which is kind of our one-to-one shopping assistant over SMS, which targets subscribers who haven't converted and help them shop. So you're actually able to like proactively engage subscribers when it matters the most and offer kind of like a very personal shopping assistance. So it goes beyond automated. It creates what's really great about it is it all starts at a brand center. And I think something that a lot of brands are nervous about with using AI, especially when it comes to like agentic or incorporating it in their marketing, is brands have spent so much time building a proprietary brand voice. And we have something called Brand Center. So this isn't just a GPT wrapper that we use. It's something that you're as a merchant going in and you're filling in like, these are words we use. These are campaigns. Yes, we would send this campaign. No, this does not sound like us. So you're over time able to really make sure that this AI assistant working on your behalf sounds exactly like a customer support agent would that's texting actively with your customers. Yeah, and so I think I'm excited about it because I think it unlocks, really actionable insights, drives a ton of incremental revenue, and it'll be kind of our first BFCM with Shopper specifically. So I know we're really looking forward to see how people are having conversations and like converting more people with that proactive approach over text.
I know we're kind of going down the line here, but from like an AI perspective, like Dylan was saying, there's AI applications here where it's not necessarily like, hey, AI in like the tools that the panelists here have. So like Dylan was saying, hey, I use different LLMs for different things. I like to think about it from like, we're in like a little bit of a push and a pull here from like a content perspective in e-commerce. So forever it's been put a message inside of an ad and send it out into the market. It was like this push. But with the rise of like agentic search or just like agentic experiences, like people are asking questions and like for once ecom feels like it has like a really strong pull here where it's like people are asking questions about the products you sell. Go into one of the like your AI tool of choice and like just start asking things like Dylan said, like what are people asking about my type of product? And like just see how you're coming up and like see what people are asking, because that can start to be what forms hypotheses on like what to put to the site. what to test. Like I'm going to build a particular landing page because people seem to be thinking or asking questions about this. I might want to have that in the cart or at checkout as like reassurance. Does so and so have free returns? Okay, that's probably something that I want to integrate and test to see if it's actually going to be meaningful.
One last one on the AI big hacks. If you don't have the biggest brand, you can keep it broad. But if you do have a larger brand, Reddit Ask. The AI that they have in there is
Yes.
stupid valuable. It is so important. So like just go to Reddit Ask. It's pretty much just OpenAI integrated with Reddit and just like you get to query pretty much everything. So I've never gotten better sources of like insights unique to a brand or an industry and just go to Reddit, ask and just ask. It's like so valuable.
Amazing. We have about 10 questions left in 15 minutes. So let's lightning round through these next one. Question one, what's one low lift tactic you've seen work well for collecting high quality reviews during BFCM? This one's for me. The easiest thing you can do is send it at the right time. During BFCM, there can be longer shipping delays. Don't send your review request before the product arrives. Make sure that you've set it up to be delivered after delivery and build in a little bit of extra buffer time. Keep in mind when shoppers are buying more items than once, you want to send that review request at the time when someone is most likely to have initially seen value from it. So maybe if you're a supplements brand, you're usually sending it like 2 months after delivery. Maybe give yourself an extra 3 weeks. So maybe it's like 2 months and 3 weeks so that people have actually tried it and have something to say. And then the other bonus low lift tactic with that, you asked for one, I'm going to give you two, is to add it to a loyalty program. So if you add everyone who makes a purchase during BFCM to your loyalty program automatically, give them some points in exchange for that. So make a purchase, join our loyalty program. Here's your 200 points that you receive. Give them extra points for those reviews on BFCM purchases. So that can be maybe normally you only offer 100 points in exchange for review, maybe boost that up to 200 and then do the same for photo reviews or for video reviews too. Super simple way to tie kind of that review conversion piece to the loyalty program piece and support with longer term shopping. Next question, while we're talking loyalty, should loyalty points or referrals be spotlighted during BFCM or saved for post-sale engagement? We see a lot of people do double or triple points discount days for BFCM. So if you think about it, people who are in your loyalty program, and particularly people who are in your VIP program, so in your silver or your gold tier, those are your most active shoppers. They probably don't need a broad blanket discount to make a purchase with you. Obviously, they're price sensitive, but they already know the value. They already are engaged with your product. So what we'll sometimes see is people, instead of offering, say, like a 20% off site wide, maybe they'll give like a earn double the points, or your points are worth double the discount during this period of time, just to those VIP customers. So it allows for personalization and segmentation of the offer instead of kind of over discounting with those consumers who would probably have made a purchase. Anyone else have any thoughts on segmenting offer or loyalty programs? And if not,
I
I'll jump
think
into, oh, go
maybe
ahead.
just like having that data for segmentation is huge. Again, that's something that we do at Triple Whale. We help you actually segment your customers so that when it does come time to having certain ads, offers, etc., then you actually have that data to be able to segment it properly so that you actually reach your consumer in the best way possible.
Yes, not everyone is in the VIP tier, right? You want to make sure that you're actually reaching out to the right people.
Totally. Or like as a female shopper, for some reason, I sometimes get ads from Lululemon about males, like men's clothing, and I just don't understand why.
You just want the things that are relevant to you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right. Moving on in the list, any creative ways to repurpose reviews or UGC from BFCM buyers into January remarketing? It's a really cool use case that I saw today. You know how usually you have your reviews as like a widget on a PDP page or even a review page? I saw someone take reviews and overlay them on their product imagery in that primary product carousel. So they had their regular, like it was a skincare brand, it was a picture of their model holding the product. And then it was a 5-star review over top of that. So I thought that was an interesting way to repurpose the review. Not everyone makes it to the second scroll. So that's in that initial, like most people interact with the photos on a page. All right. Oh, Dylan, you came off mute there. Oh,
Oh,
all good.
well, good. I was like, that's thumbs up. That's great.
Cool. Tamana, back to you. When marketing efficiency ratio and return on ad spend fluctuate heavily during BFCM, which metrics should brands actually prioritize for decision making?
I would say like AOV and LTV. We're doing lightning round, or you want me to like dig in a little further? I'd
Dig in
say
a little
those two
further.
and mess. Okay. Well, AOV is huge because obviously it's your average order value. You want to see if there are ways to increase it. There are several ways to increase it, and that can help your bottom line significantly, even if it's like a 2% increase in AOV. Imagine how much that is, over a year, for example, or a specific promo period. LTV, another really, really big one. And sometimes it's better to just like look at your LTV not only around BFCM, but just like throughout the whole year. How much is this actual customer bringing to you? How profitable are they to you? And how much should you invest in them in turn to actually continue this cycle of revenue?
Alex, what do you think from the intelligence side? What metric matters the most during BFCM?
I'm super biased, but like here at IntelliGems, we take a look at profit per visit a lot. It is one of the biggest metrics in our dashboards, and I think that it is often overlooked. Like, yes, you want to be focused on AOV. I want people to be buying as much as they can, but what if what they're putting into their basket is low margin items and you're constantly discounting? Like with what we were talking about earlier with like the economic climate, like I think profitability is more important than ever. Your margins are important. So yes, and to what was being said is make sure you're looking at the profitability of what is actually happening with the tactics that you're doing in Black Friday, Cyber Monday. With what's going on, this is probably the year to care more about the margins and the profitability and not just say, hey, I'm just going to sell as much as I can and then try to make it up with LTV later. Try to be as profitable as you can on the initial sale and then get bonus or gravy on the LTV.
The one metric, net profit, baby. That's it.
Profit, just profit, care about profit.
EBITDA. That's it. Like no other words. That's reverse engineer from there.
Laura, what are we looking at in terms of the postscript side of things? What metric matters the most in your perspective?
Click-through rates and EPM, which is earnings per message. I would say one thing to not worry about is unsubscribes. I think there's a lot of panic that happens. We hear from merchants all the time. How do I know if I'm sending too many messages? Take a step back and look at how many hundreds and hundreds of messages your subscribers are going to be getting from brands. They don't actually have it in them to like hit unsubscribe on everyone. So I would say what you should be focused on instead is making sure that your messages are actually reaching them. It's why we say like Black Friday, make it a 2 text day. Cyber Monday, make it a 2 text day. Send a little bit off the hour. Send at like times where there's a little less traffic, a little less noise in their phones. So just like thinking about those things just to have your best performance possible to really optimize that channel during the BFCM window. Think about that instead. Don't worry about unsubscribes. If they're unsubscribing during Black Friday, they were never going to buy anyways, right? Like it's okay.
It's a very hot take, not to worry
That
about
is a hot take.
unsubscribes.
I know. It's true though.
All right. With our last couple minutes, we've had a few questions about mobile optimization. Um, Dylan, I'm going to throw this over to you. What's one mobile UX optimization that you've seen effectively shift users from browsing to buying compared to website or email or SMS optimization?
If you guys didn't get the memo yet, it's copywriting and images. Out of a bank of 4,000 split tests that we ran at the agency, 80% of the split tests that ran a positive lift were either copywriting or images. If you guys do nothing else, don't mess with your UX. Like there's nothing about UX that you need to do. It's really just copywriting and images. That is the 80/20. That might even be the 95/5 of why people buy. In my book, I have a new framework that I built on consumer psychology, which is the gator and the judge. The gator is like that subconscious part of your brain that's kind of on autopilot, and the judge is when you feel like friction or like a step back or question something, kind of comes down, bangs the gavel, and like pretty much stops people. So the only way to actually get people to, when you're reading, you've been reading since you were a very little kid, so that's actually not like critical thinking. Reading is just absorbing and, subconscious, it's automatic. So copywriting and images, if you do nothing to your website but just change that, that's it. So there's really no UX optimizations to be made. To be honest, like some of my CRO friends hate me for it, but I say like literally don't focus on UX. Just like get to the customer, give them images that resonate with the gator of them, of your customers, and just, avoid the judge and like have the right copywriting. And that's really it. So like don't focus on UX at all. Don't hound your dev agency for doing a ton of things right now. That's why I also say you can test through Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Don't be testing a ton of UX. Just test copywriting, test images. That's it.
Less but better. The simple things that you can control for.
Yep.
All right. Any final thoughts on mobile optimization? With our final question here from anyone else?
Oh, one other thing. I do have a stat that more people shop on desktop in Black Friday, Cyber Monday than mobile. So on average, most people know it's like 80-20 mobile to desktop, but I found it to be like 70, even 65% mobile to desktop. So I'd be super curious to those who have data on like big data on ads. We have big data on websites, but like I'd be super curious if like where delivery goes and like where conversions are happening on desktop versus mobile, because I've just noticed there's a lot more shoppers who are like again, higher AOV, bigger purchases. So like the higher the AOV, the larger the split of desktop versus mobile. So if you're going in to like buy something like a Hexclad versus like a Jones Road product, like more people are going to be on the computer. So, it's like mobile optimization is always important. It's always the bigger piece, but don't sleep on desktop either. And also, if you guys just go on a tablet on your website, I guarantee you'll find a bug immediately. So like to anyone, like I've literally never looked at a website and like if I put it to the viewport of a tablet, that there isn't like an immediate bug to be found.
Big purchase, big screen, small purchase, little screen philosophy, right? Perfect. All
Precisely.
right. Well, I'm just going to say thank you for all of our speakers here. We have a few resources for you all. I know that we didn't get to all of the questions. Some of us popped our LinkedIn's in the chat, but we'll also follow up via email after this so you have all of our contact information. Thinking about other ways that we can use these questions and make sure that you get the answers. Super interesting. These are resources that go a little bit deeper into the topics that we talked about today. Scan the QR code if you want them. Triple Whale is offering for you to try the platform for free. Stamped has a retention toolkit with a bunch of really easy to implement plays so that you can have that BFCM first time purchaser made into a second time buyer. And then Postscript also has some amazing BFCM playbooks so that you can plug and play some of those campaigns that Laura talked about today. Thank you so much to all of our speakers today. This is one of my favorite webinars of the year. I feel like we learned so much. Thank you for taking time. Thank you everyone for joining. If you have questions after, follow up with us. We want to continue the dialogue. Okay, thanks everyone.